Hey YouTube, and welcome back. Gold prices have stabilized near their 8-year high in valuation. That is on the backs of increased positive cases of the COVID-19 virus, to name one of several factors driving money into our favorite yellow metal. COVID-19 cases have continued to climb in parts of the United States as well as other countries such as Brazil and India. In California and Texas, the governors of those states have instructed bars to shut down. And at the U.S. Capitol in Washington, plans are temporarily being paused for reopening. COVID cases continue to rise in other countries as well. I heard reports coming out of Australia about some changes, that is in the Melbourne, Australia area, on how people can gather and socialize there. As such, also, stocks have sold off somewhat over the last 10 trading sessions, bringing the sharp recovery in equities prices that we've seen to a halt. Now, gold is within striking distance of setting new records for the decade and has also experienced its largest quarterly rise in value in more than 4 years. The second quarter of 2020, look back and think about how far we've come over just 3 short months and what price fluctuations that we've seen. All of the ingredients for higher gold prices are present today. We're still seeing civil unrest in the streets of the United States. After all, this is an election year, and certain civil issues, especially, they do tend to emerge every 4 years in America. This, of course, sparks more concerns for equities, on top of the global pandemic. And also, let us not forget the infinite money printing by the global banks. The current price action in gold is indeed continuing to show that further gains are possible in gold this year, which is great news, of course, to those of us that have been preparing for this. I can honestly say that I started to purchase and hold gold without any foresight to a global pandemic. I had no clue. It wasn't something that I was, preparing for. I think we've seen that the world wasn't quite prepared for this coronavirus. I started purchasing gold and silver with the foresight of, protecting myself from pretty poor Federal Reserve policy, the ballooning global debt that I've been observing throughout my whole life, as well as what I thought to be an overbloated stock market, that is, before this pandemic kicked off. So now here we are. We're several months into a pandemic, and as I've discussed in a video a couple of weeks back, we're starting to see some short-term deflation in the market for all things other than food products, that is, as well as certain services, namely those catered to data, bandwidth, and the ability to work from home. Now, given that inflation is trending lower in both the short and medium terms, gold will benefit from decreased yields in bonds on the market as well. So if we can see some continued decreased yields in the bond market, especially with those treasury bonds, treasury yields, then that's just going to be an additional bull flag for gold, making gold more attractive for large investors. And also, make no mistake, my stacking friends, our little community of contrarian savers and investors, we see a lot of things coming. We've been watching how monetary policy in the world has just pretty much gone to crap, right? Over probably the last 50 years at least. However, the price action really isn't determined by us stackers. Not much of what we're doing has an influence here. It's, of course, more by the big banks and the institutional investors. So while we may have a little influence on gold spot price, maybe a little on the physical side, it's impacting our ability to stack precious metals with the increase in spot price that, by and large, it's really just out of our hands, guys and girls, okay? If you're here watching this video, chances are you're not an institutional investor. You're someone like me who likes to take your paycheck money, your fiat currency, and you like to turn it into gold and silver to store and hold your wealth, to protect it from the craziness in the world. So there's just so many things right now that are bullish for gold and silver. The dollar was not one of them, however. The dollar was slightly higher today in trading, which is usually a bearish signal, especially for gold. A stronger dollar can make assets priced in the dollar, such as gold, much less attractive to buyers using alternative monetary units like the yen, pound, or euro. I know you've heard this before. We're seeing, record prices in the dollar, but record prices have already transpired this year in other currencies due to their divergence from the dollar, as well as the increase in value of gold. So you've got, the dollar getting stronger, which is requiring additional currency in a different currency to purchase gold, and then gold itself is also increasing in value. So gold is becoming even more difficult to purchase outside of the United States. Low interest rates, global monetary policies, and the coronavirus are all at play here, really. It's not just this pandemic. And all we really do need to see is a drop in treasury yields, and that could be a massive catalyst or the perfect storm for a potentially record breaking valuation in gold. I know many of the silver stackers here that are subscribed to my channel. You've been stacking silver for many years, a lot of you. And you recall when silver, it spiked to approximately 50 US dollars. Now, if gold continues its march up, we may see silver follow suit, which is exciting for those of us sitting on a large stack. I'm not one of them. It's actually quite discouraging for folks like me, especially us new stackers that are still trying to accumulate this beautiful white precious metal. Now, there are analysts out there that are talking about this $20 line, for silver that's floating out there. Obviously, we're not there. Silver had a great day today, up over 40 cents. But once silver crosses that $20 spot valuation, all gloves are truly off on how high it will settle once it passes that mark. It's kind of like a kryptonite for silver, but once it gets past it, who knows? Who knows what can happen with silver? Silver, of course, is the more speculative of the metals in front of us today, that and platinum, which I'll go ahead and pull out here. Of course, platinum is much more tied to industry. Silver has a lot of ties to industry, but is also still considered a monetary metal and a safe haven asset. So silver on the left here, like this Australian kangaroo, and some platinum here on the right from the U.S. Mint. This is a 1 ounce platinum American Eagle. Platinum is, it's trading around $840 per ounce. Of course, to purchase this coin, you're going to pay closer to $1,000 due to the current premiums. Let's just talk about premiums here for a second, okay? So there are 6 more months remaining in 2020 as of today. It's June 30th. Look at the calendar. We're halfway to the end. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on the next 6 months with gold and silver prices. I for one have been kind of seeing a continued rise in gold. I'm looking for a little more validation in silver. As you know, silver is heavily manipulated. It's been held down for years. If you look at the last 10 years, had you have started investing in the S&P 500 10 years ago or stacking gold, you'd be doing very well right now. But for my silver stackers, if you were straight silver over the last 10 years, it's been brutal. It's been painful. We really need to see confirmation. Today was a nice day. Let's see if gold starts to set new records, and potentially silver will, come right up behind it. So do you foresee a possible record-setting price in gold with silver running up behind? Is that something that you see? Or, talk to me. Tell me what you're picking up from everything that's going on. I foresee, possible record-setting prices in gold behind everything that's going on. If it's not going to happen now with all of these catalysts and ingredients supporting gold and silver, then, we may not actually see that big run-up in silver anytime soon, especially that we've, many of us at least, have been hoping for. So only time will tell. That is certain. Only time will tell. We have 6 more months in 2020. There are more reasons than not at this time to be bullish on precious metals. If nothing other than the price action on gold is what you can use to validate that statement. I mean, just take a look. Most impressive quarter in the last 4 years. It was really the only asset that was back in positive territory after the initial sell-off on the tailwinds of the lockdowns that went into place across the world when this pandemic first kicked off. There's just so many positive reasons right now to be in bullion. If you're concerned about today's prices, then there is a solid chance that you'll be even more concerned soon, as it looks like gold, especially, and maybe even silver, well, they're going to continue to rise. So I'm going to pass the same message on to my subscribers today that I have been passing on for a long time, and that is to continue to look for the deals. You can work within the stacking community. There's Facebook groups, there's Instagram, some of the stackers here on YouTube, not going to name any right now because there's just too many good channels to name, but they do auctions and live streams. There are options for you to pick up silver. Plus, talk to each other. Use the comment section down below, not just to talk to me, talk to one another. Ask questions. Ask where people are buying from. Ask what kind of prices they're paying. Hopefully it's honest what they'll say in return. Usually it's pretty obvious if it's not, but let's try to help each other out, Let's look for the deals, let's work within the community, and let's continue to financially prepare for what looks to be a very bumpy ride ahead for all of us on this planet. So thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I'll be back soon with another precious metals focused stacking video. Take care everyone, be good to one another, and I'll see you next time.